Hello everyone and welcome back to some more freshly brewed drag tea. Today I have with me a legend in the New York drag scene who graced our screens with her red and yellow fantasy when she appeared on Drag Race Season 13. I'm super excited for you all to get to know her better and learn more about her amazingly long and varied career in drag. We'll of course be talking all things Drag Race, and I'll be asking some of the great questions that you all sent in. Please welcome the always entertaining Tina Burner.
Pew, 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 pew.
You brought your own sound effects.
I know. I figure why not? You know, I'm a loudmouth, so I might as well use it.
You're an icon. You deserve, a nice intro.
I think, yeah, I enjoyed that intro. What I got from it was that I'm old. So yes, been around since the dinosaurs. I like to say, I've been around BC, which is before Charles. That's how old I am. Just really ancient.
I don't see you as being old. I just see you as being a staple in the New York drag scene. Well, drag scene in general, but particularly New York, and just having,
especially New York. Yeah. I was doing like 9 shows a week before Drag Race for I don't even know, like 12 years there before the show. So yeah, New York's definitely home. It's always, and that, Fire Island, which is right there. It's been my home for so many years. So yeah, I guess I don't know if I'll ever be able to get out of New York, even though, like, if you live in New York and you've been there a long time, you're like, you want out and you're like, this is dirty and gross. But everybody who wants to come there, like, it's just so magical. But I'm just like, girl, it's a lot. You pay a lot of money to live in a shoebox.
I think it's kind of similar to London as well. I mean, that's kind of how I've been to New York a few times. I really liked it, but I can imagine it is very expensive.
Yeah, it's like in the summer, you know what I mean? It warms up that garbage on the street and it just smells lovely. London at least has architecture, you know what I mean? You guys have at least that fantasy, you get the Queen fantasy, you got it all,
Well, I think you bring the Queen fantasy in New York.
I do. I can't help it.
So obviously, speaking of queens, I guess the thing we know you best for as well is Drag Race, being the ultimate New York drag queen on there. So can you just tell me a little bit how you got involved in Drag Race and how many times had you auditioned before you got on season 13?
I mean, I auditioned since the beginning of time, I guess. No, I auditioned, I think it's 7 times. It gets a little fuzzy now because, like, it's literally just been a span. I wish I could go back and watch all those tapes because I didn't even think I saved a lot of them because they were something. Rough. And yeah, I just didn't give up. I mean, I just thought that I belonged on that show. I think I stayed true to who I am as a performer. I didn't do drag just to get on television. I don't do drag just to make money. You know what I mean? I'm a drag performer and I've always been a performer. It comes first. So I thought it was important to have someone on the show like that. And you know what I mean? Because, like, obviously the fans are going to say what they want to say, but, like, at the end of the day, baby, I worked before, I will work after, I will continue to work because that's why I do it, is because I love to perform. So you can't stop me. That's what I mean. I'm such a persistent person, no matter what, even in pageants and everything. When I was running for national Miss Comedy Queen, I took 3 years to win it because, like, the first you get the feel for it, you see what they want, what judges like, stuff like that, and you build, and then you just come back and slay. And I won by, like, the most points ever, and when I won and everything, because you take tips. So you better watch out, All Stars, because I got your game figured out now, honey.
Well, I'm sure we'd all love to see you on All Stars, because I thought, yeah, you slayed season 13. I think you came in, to me, it was obvious that the other queens, like pretty much all of them knew who you were. You had such a reputation, and that speaks for itself, all the work you put in before Drag Race, that you already had the name going in.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't hurt. I like people to be a little scared. I think I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, it's just like, I do, camp, and I do comedy, and I do this. So, like, it's lovely to see. I just met, for the first time I was at DragCon, and I met all the UK girls, and it was just so lovely. I have to say, I was obsessed, and I'm so obsessed. I'm still obsessed. I mean, all of them, like Baga, Taste, Horror, like, all those girls are exactly my vibe. You know what I mean? There's something to say about, like, UK drag, and, like, it's so camp and no one takes things too seriously. And these girls can call each other slags and all this shit, and nobody gets offended and cries in a corner. Like, you know what I mean? They're all in on the joke. Where here, like, in the great America, it's just, everybody's just so sensitive, and as far as when it comes to comedy and stuff like that. So, like, I feel that, you know, you have to apologize a lot more. And it's just, I miss the days when we could all like just do that raunchy comedy and people were just like, yes. Now everyone's like, you know, I don't know. Times change, people change, but I don't change, baby. I'm just really like, I'm getting better with age, like a great wine.
I think you are a burner wine.
I know, right? I should do all the burner wine. Meanwhile, I'm having a lovely sparkling tequila. I have a show later.
You're bubbly and spicy.
I'm bubbly and spicy. I definitely am spicy. I'll give you that. Definitely spicy.
Well, on Drag Race, I think definitely the thing that came across to me was that you were kind of the consummate professional. You knew what you were doing. You were definitely the campy, funny queen. Did it all, being on the show, change? Did you feel like you had to be a bit less sort of comedic and almost a bit less biting because you were worried about what the fan reaction might be?
I wish, I honestly, would I have it to do over again? I would be more of a zero given. I wish I was, my problem, no matter where I am or whatever situation I am, I was raised to be respectful of professionals around you. And so that's what I mean. Like, I think if I would have really just went in, it just would have served me better because like, that's who I am. But I was like, people are like, oh, she was this. And I was like, oh, baby, you didn't see half of it. Like, you know, like there's so much you don't get to see. And yeah, I definitely pushed some buttons. But and that's the point. It's television. And I wish I would have went in with that attitude. Is that remember to myself, it's not so much like performance. It is television here. And like you're making good television. And so yeah, I mean, I think we were all worried about it was hard because it was the first show to film during COVID. The world was in a really scary place. We had to be there weeks before quarantining and like it's so like cut off already from everything. So I think everybody was just in a weird place and everybody was very careful about what they're saying or what they won't say. So, you know, I just wish, I wish we all would have just really been the people. And I think, you know, the funny thing is the people that we are, I think the people that tried to be all goody two shoes, people see right through, you know, you're like, oh, it's an act. We could tell, like, you're not that nice.
Are you talking about anyone specifically or?
We'll leave it at that. I mean, of course, I mean, there's lots of people you could talk about. I mean, you know, there's certain people that just block people that from my season. I mean, I'm blocked, so you can do your research. We all know who we're talking about.
Yes. Well, I was going to ask in terms of, because I think your season definitely was a bit unusual in the sense that it was during COVID, obviously, because season 12 was during COVID, but only for the finale, whereas the whole of yours was during COVID, and you could tell they were with the masks and everything. Do you think that negatively impacted the whole season?
I think it was harder to let your guard down a little bit more. It was harder to be comfortable with people because, you know, we're still in that tension, you know, and like people have masks on, so you don't even get to see their faces. So like, you don't know what's going on. I mean, so yeah, I don't think I wouldn't say negatively. I've never felt more safe in my life and they took amazing care of us. So I think it was a negative thing. I just think it would have been obviously better, you know, to be able to relate with people face to face because we're used to that our whole lives. That's what we've done. So when you cover up, you have the tendency to pull back a little bit.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so obviously when you walked into the workroom, so you were first to walk in your little group, I guess I'm assuming you were expecting it to be like a normal season where you walk in and all 12 or whatever girls. Yeah. How did it feel then when there was just 2 other people and then you had to go straight to the main stage to lip sync?
I mean, I peed my pants. I was just like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, like we've already been here. We've already been quarantining. Now you're going to throw a twist up in here. Like we're already on edge. Like everybody's on edge. And then they threw that twist. So it was great. I mean, if there's one thing that I pride myself is that I've always, you know, been a lip syncer. And like, I mean, I live sing and obviously I'm touring right now here in Provincetown doing like my show, which is live singing and mixes and stuff like that. So get me to a stage. I was like this. I was like, I'll send both of them home. I was like, I did not come here to come all the way here to have these send me home. I don't care what I got to do. I don't care who I got to push. I don't care what I got to break. You know, like it was just that mindset. But it was such an out of body experience. It's like when the only way I can describe it is like, you know, like if you play Monopoly And you've always wondered like what would it be like if you were that size and in the game. Like that's what it was like going in the show. You're inside your TV all of a sudden. And like these people are there and you're just like, ah. And it was like came around the corner and like they're all even better looking in person. Like the RuPaul was stunning. Michelle was such stunning, you know what I mean? Like you're just like, and to be there the first day to come in and have to make an impression on these people, I was just like, oh baby, you know, I ain't going down like that. And then I found out I was the only one who had to go against two people. And I was like, that's messed up. Because if you look at my track record, honey, I only lip sync when I came in and I beat two people and I only lip sync when I went home. Period. The end. If we want to talk track records. Some of these girls will lip sync 6 times before they fuck in. Girl, track record.
Definitely. I was going to say, I always felt like you had a much more difficult task because you had to lip sync against 2 other people, which is, so you had a 1 in 3 chance of winning, not a 1 in 2.
Right. And I was like,
killed that lip sync. You were so good. You were so funny. And then
I'm surprised they let me get away what they showed on television because I was getting in there, honey. And I was like, and then I saw when it aired, I was like, ooh, they're really pushing the envelope. I was getting wild. But Ru was like having such a great time. And I honestly wish, you know, I had so much more time, like just one-on-one. But like RuPaul and I wish I would have let my guard down a little bit more and been who I am because I think we share very similar comedy styles. You know what I mean? Like I think that we would have related a lot. I just didn't get the chance to do that, you know?
Yeah, no, I guess it's a shame, but I definitely thought your lip sync, like you said, I guess it was when you did the certain hand action, which I won't repeat because I don't want to get too monetized. But like, I thought that was so funny, and it was like you could tell RuPaul was loving it, and I was like, yeah, she's winning. There's no way she's not going to win this after that.
I was like, ooh, it was a risk, but I was just like, I don't care at all. I mean, it's comedy, and like the other thing is too, you have to realize, like my hair was going everywhere, like barely staying on because you walk in the entrance, you're told it's just an entrance look, so you never think you're going to perform in it. So like poor Denali, you know, she was in skates and doing it and just like, I was just like, how nasty. But I mean, if I was running the show, I would do the same thing. So I applauded it. I was like, well, you got me good, gal.
It was a good twist, and I think you did really well. And then you obviously got to go into kind of like the winner's circle, they called, you know, like the A team or whatever.
Yeah.
What did it feel like then when you met the other people? Because I assume you must have known quite a lot of the people in that group. How did it feel to walk in? And
I mean, I knew a lot of people in the group and stuff like that. It was great to be able to see some of these girls and get to know them because, like I said, I worked in New York and like even working in the same city basically as Kandy and like Rosé and stuff like that, we didn't really know each other. So like, and I'm always working. Like I'm a workaholic, never take off, you know, as it stands, you know, I fly from here to Fire Island to back to bed, you know, like it doesn't stop. And so it was nice to be in that circle and, you know, start off on a great note. It's first impressions are first impressions, no matter what. And like, you can't do that. Like you can't, you know, redo it. So it was great. I made it first. I was happy about, you know, so seeing all these other girls in there, I was just happy to be amongst what I thought was, you know, the top people there. Because if you go and be in a competition, you want to fight against the best. A lot of these girls will be like, I want somebody who can't know. If I'm in a competition, beat me, but beat me fair. Beat me fair, honey.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think you came across as being the front runner in terms of you had such a reputation. All the other girls were kind of like slightly intimidated, I think, and because they knew definitely who you were. One person that I was actually quite interested to talk about was Rosé, because obviously you know each other from New York and everything from the scene. And she was obviously didn't get through to the A team, whatever you want to call it. I was just wondering, one of the points that they kind of mentioned once in the Untucked was they were trying to push this storyline that there was some kind of beef between you two stemming from the fact that you got into the winner's circle, she didn't. Was there actually anything to that, or was that just production?
I mean, I'm listening, Rosé. I'm not snapping back at you. That's what you just did.
I mean, there's always a beef when you want to be, you know, part of a winner's circle or not the winner. So, I mean, of course there's a beef with that. I don't know if it was a beef so much with us. I think in New York is such a competitive city. So no matter what, we've always all competed against each other, you know, period. So, I mean, and a lot of people think I am, what's the word I'm looking for? Direct, I guess, or you have to understand what I do is I'm always being a professional. So sometimes it's just to the beat, do the show, you know, let's do this, make it the best there is. And I don't put on this little like, oh hey, you know what I mean? Like, so some people just think I'm, you know, I'm very Miranda Priestley, you know, like that's all. Like we're getting the job done. And that's what we're doing because that's what it's about. It's about the work. And like it is. And like so, yeah, I think they tried to, yeah, I mean, I don't think they pushed anything. I just think what was happening was happening. What was said was said. I think you have to understand it really all flowed very, very natural. I never felt staged at any point. Me particularly, you know what I mean? I know a lot of girls did. I didn't. Like nobody ever asked me to do anything. Nobody ever pushed me to do nothing. Like so, but then again, that's me. You know, I don't need to be directed.
Well, I mean, you are wearing your Anna Wintour top, and so that's effectively Miranda Priestley in real life, right? So
that's all I know. As I said that, I was just like, oh God, I am wearing this. I love it so much. It's so cute.
She's an icon.
She
like
is.
You. Well, one thing I was going to talk about, because I always felt like you didn't actually come across as, I don't think, being like that direct or rude or anything. I thought you almost just, you came across
because you're British. Because you're British, baby. Because you get it, you understand it. You're just like, all right, baby, she just camping me and her, you know, like you're British. The little crybabies over here, honey.
Well, I mean, I can't speak to that, but I always thought you came across really well on in like Untucked and stuff. They were never really, you were never portrayed as being the villain, if we can call it that.
Yeah.
Like, I think you always came across as being like almost like the mediator.
Yeah, well, definitely. I was definitely that's why I said like, you know, like hashtag dad is like, I was definitely, you know, the adults. And the thing is, but that comes with age, comes with experience. And like, it comes with, you got to talk up, you know, you have to, what's what we're here for. So like, yeah, I try to mediate things. I try to, you know, even that, like I said, that fight with, you know, Tamisha and Kandy, like it was real, like it was getting heated and the other girls are back there filing their nails, like letting everything go down. I was like, is no one going to step in? No one. Okay, we're just worried about we're good. Okay, cool. I said, girl, I'll jump in.
I don't know how we just got from point A to point B, because all I said is you all walked in. I said, how do you guys feel? Let's talk about who we think were in the tops and the bottoms. And all of a sudden it turned into, I don't like people in here and you're arrogant.
You know, like, I'm happy to pull it apart and break it up because it's just like, come on, get it together, girls.
Yeah, I mean, that was, regardless of whose side you're on, that was a great television moment.
Oh,
and
it was amazing.
You were very much in it. What was it like in person?
Let's not change what I said. I said what I said.
I said, yes, the hell you,
got
are.
The right one.
Yes, the hell
I'm
you
not
are,
gonna
baby.
Be too many bitches.
Like I said,
I don't care about the mother
problem, and there
like
was an issue that y'all had.
It was wild. It was wild. There was so much more to it. It was wild. It was great. I mean, I was like this. I was living. And then it continued on, and there's, you know what I mean? It continued. And so, yeah.
Are there any details that you wish to share in terms of what was?
No, I'm just saying there was just so much more to it. And like, you know, obviously we had a lot, you know, to talk about, the two of us, me and Tamisha, you know, so, I mean, yeah, you just didn't get to see a lot of it, which is, it's hard because they film for so long, like, and to fit everything into like such a short amount of thing, you know, you got to choose which one you're going to use. I would love to watch it all. I would love to sit down and watch every last minute of it. Just get some popcorn and watch that because like it was good. It was good.
Great.
And I think it's great. And it's great for, you know, here's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, it's bad for this, bad for this. I was like, remind yourselves what y'all are doing. Like you're watching television. If you want us all to hold hands and kumbaya, I was like, what kind of show is that? Not for me. Not for me, sis.
It's television, and it's your drag queens on a television show. And I think there's a difference between obviously being hateful. I don't think any of you were hateful. I just think you made good television.
Right. And I think they just wanted to get some things out, you know, like just wanted to, there's tension. There's tension every day. And like tension just boils, and we are working long days, you know? So that's the other thing people forget. Like we are working these very long days, and like people are tired, people are touchy, people are grumpy. You know, and it's just like, girl, I love it. I loved every minute of it. I mean, please take me away again, take my cell phone away from me and put me in that room. Because I'll tell you what, yes, 2 thumbs up, fine holiday fun. But this time, she don't let them have it.
Well, that was actually going to be lots of people wanted to know whether you would go back for All Stars if you were asked.
Oh, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I would. And because you know what, and you know, like, because there's certain things I never thought after all this time that I could still learn more. I know it sounds weird, but like you get set in your ways and like, and you know, first thing I came back and I was like, ooh, we gotta fix that face. Because I saw it on TV and I went, we gotta fix that face, honey. And so I came back and I worked with, you know, a few girls who like do makeup in New York. And, you know, they're just like, you just got to fix things. And like, so I did. And there's a lot, and there's still more to learn, you know, and I looked at it and I went, oh yeah, like I could definitely change. Change is hard and you want to be willing to change, but not lose yourself. So it's been like exploring that route because like, you know, drag does change and it is evolving every day. And, you know, I can't be stuck in this, you know, zone of where I was and not be able to take it in. I find it fascinating. So like, it was a huge learning experience for me. And I didn't think that would happen. I never expected that to happen. And then I went and it was just like being at summer camp and like, you're just learning all this new shit. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know, and then you look around the room and you're like, okay, well, I guess we're doing fashion. Nobody, camp, nobody, you know, like, that obviously there were some, but I'm saying it was very eye-opening. So I would love a challenge to go back now with the mindset and what I know, and like I would be so much more comfortable because I've seen these camp counselors before, you know, like I've seen them all. So I'll be like, hey girl, you know, not like, oh my God, don't talk to me, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see you on All Stars because I think you let them have it, and I think it was almost like it was a warm up. It was a warm up for you to go on All Stars.
And that's the thing. Like I said, when I, you know, competing for nationals, or I was competing with that, it took me to find my feet. And so, like, I would love put me in any All Stars. Start me out in a UK one, slap me in this one, put me in Australia. I don't care, babe. I'm ready. Let's go. We're gonna play ball now, honey.
Well, I'm sure we'd all love to see you because, as you were saying earlier, you actually had a really good track record. You never fell in the bottom apart from the 1 week that unfortunately you went home. So, and you only lip synced for your life once, if you don't count the first one, because everyone did that. So I don't really count that because that wasn't your choice. So, because I thought like you smashed pretty much every challenge. Like the self-made outfit you made, I thought looked like you had just bought it from home. Like, I was really
Mommy, and what you didn't get to see is like it was a full beanbag, and there was funny moments because you know what's the stuff that's inside a beanbag. I had to rip all the seams out. That was going everywhere and getting in everyone's costumes, and I was laughing so hard because it was poor Mick. You know, it was just in his stuff, and and I literally patterned it. Pulled it out. I had a zipper vent in the front and then like, you know, in the back, and I hand sewed these little zipper heads to put the purse straps on. Baby, it was, I loved that. I loved how that look came together. And y'all got mad because it was red and yellow, but suck it. Who would have thought that I was the only one who branded on my season and then went home on a branding challenge? So it's just not fair.
I mean, I thought I was like, your outfit looked like it could have been made and brought with you. I would never have been like that.
And I think that was the problem. That's my problem was I looked at the challenges like that. I read them literally, and I was just like, oh. And then you see, you know, somebody stapling some purses around their waist, and praise for it. I was in trouble.
Well, so obviously speaking about you talked about your branding, obviously the red and the yellow. Where did that kind of come from? And do you think that hindered you in the competition slightly?
I mean, I don't know if it hindered it. You don't know what challenges are happening when. So it's just the way the cards fell is all those other, because I had the other outfits that weren't red, orange, or yellow, but they all went in the beginning. So everybody like was like, that's all she wears. God, whatever will you say on Twitter when I don't wear it? It's funny though, because it's a perfect example here in Provincetown. So after the show, you know, I've obviously, you know, tried out some other stuff. And the thing is I've always had red, orange, or yellow because fire, and it's Tina Burner. And, you know, because my name is from Proud Mary, you know, the song by Tina Turner. It's like Proud Mary, keep on burning. And like, it's this fire thing. And I've always done some like red, orange, and yellows and stuff like that. It was just very concentrated there because we're in a competition with challenges, and that's what I chose. So like, okay, guys. But I'm walking out here and like it's weird because if I'm not wearing it, people don't think it's me. And it's just like, so you want to bitch about it and you scream about it. And it was trending, you know, all throughout the show. And it made me laugh. I was literally trending for it. And then if I'm not in it, you're mad at it. But you're mad at it if it's there. And I was just like, what? You can't, you can't win. So as you see today, you know, I even gave them a little fire eye because I was just like, I don't want anybody to get confused and not know it's me.
Well, I think it's great that you had a brand. And I think, like you said, it's unfair that people are kind of holding you to a double standard of if you do wear it, you only wear it. And if you don't wear it, people don't recognize you. I did feel really bad for you. I was like, well, that's her brand. And there's other contestants have other different types of brand and they weren't read for it.
Ever. I mean, you know what my favorite is? Y'all haven't said one word to Lemon. You're just like, it's cool. I was like, y'all are wild. It's because I'm older, number one. And you know what I mean? There's a lot to be said about it. And I think they just wanted, you always have to find a target. And I was just like, I'm right here, baby. You can't miss me. I'm 6'3" out of drag. I'm a huge target. You can do it. And so it didn't bother. It was just strange to me, you know, because there's so many queens before that have done like something and it didn't become this thing, you know, because you can say what you want about my red, orange, and yellow, but they were all immaculately done garments. You may not have liked the fashion and you might not have liked certain choices I made, but like they didn't look alike. They were sewn right, everything together, and they were like designed very well. It just, it just made me laugh, like, because it was the same color. And I said, okay, girl. But look, you can't forget it. You go into McDonald's, you're like, is Tina here? You go down the street, you see a fire hydrant, you're like, Tina, are you up? You know, like, and I'm here for it. I'm all here for it.
Well, definitely. I think, like I said, you have an established brand. Everyone knows you for like the ketchup and mustard is what they call it, or the Ronald fantasy, whatever you want to call it. But everyone knows it. There's no denying if you say red and yellow, people know it's you. They're not going to think of anything else.
And that's what I'm saying is like, how many girls have been on the show? And go ahead, start naming all of them. And like, if you quizzed everybody and it was just like that, you would say me. So joke's on y'all because I did my job. So thank you for helping me.
And like you said, all of your outfits, regardless of whether they were the same color palette or whatever, like you said, all of them were immaculate. You never had a bad outfit. The one you made looked like it could have been bought and everything. It didn't look, compared to some of the other people from the bag ball, not naming names, but some of them.
Feel free. Go ahead. You can tell me.
Some of the, I mean, obviously, LaLa Ri, bless her, but we know that she knew it wasn't good. But
it was my favorite outfit on that show. It got my life together. I just remember being in that workroom and I was looking over and I was like, what the is she doing? And it was just like too late at that point because there is time constraints. So like, you know, I just felt bad. But and also though, I was like, she better work. Do you know what I mean? Because she was just like, she walked out so confidently, like that you're just like, I love. And then they were like, this is the worst outfit ever. And I was like, wow. It was like, it's a fun moment. And to watch her lip sync, you know, the bags just flying everywhere. I was like, this is everything. Sign me up.
She did. She gave an amazing lip sync. And I think she knew that the outfit was not great, but she sold it. And I was like, you walk into life with the confidence of LaLa Ri trying to sell that garment. It was amazing.
Literally, she was literally selling the paint off the walls. I was like, work.
And so obviously speaking of, you talk about, you know, time constraints and stuff, what to you was the most challenging challenge that there was on the show?
Most challenging challenge? I don't think any. I mean, improv is always, because it can go one or two ways. I was like, even the girls when we came back and like we came back in the room, everyone was like, wow, you got this. You know what I mean? Like it was just so funny. There were so many. I had Ross like scooting on the grass like a dog and we were going across the whole thing. Like there's so many things you didn't see. And it was like so much fun. And I left there like very, you know, confident about it. But that one was the one that I was like, because you never know how it's gonna go. Because whoever you're paired with, they have very different differences in similarity in comedy and stuff like that. So like you're playing off this person. So like, you know, you don't know how it's gonna go. But I thought we did an amazing job, you know. I thought Elliot was great. And you know what I mean? Because I knew that I was gonna be, once they paired me with him, I was like, oh, like it's fine because I'm loud enough. So no matter what happens, I'm gonna stand out, you know.
Yeah, and I think your improv, talking of improv, not just that challenge, but also the Snatch Game, which is effectively
That is, oh, that, you know, I take it back. You're right. Snatch Game is the most terrifying thing you'll ever do in your life. Terrifying. It is long. It is terrifying. There's like, you know what I mean? As we all know, it's just those people in the room. So it's this silence the whole time. And so, you know, when you're a performer, like I rely on that interaction from the crowd to like the kind of like how my day's gonna go in a sense, you know, like they're having a good time, I'm having a good time. Like, and I even push myself further when there's all this, when there's this silence and you think you're being hysterical, you know. One of the fun facts from the Snatch Game that you didn't get to see is that all of my tank tops were reveals and they cut out me revealing all of them. So if you go back and look at me, each time there's a new slogan on a tank top.
That's a nice little Easter egg. I didn't notice that, but I don't know why they didn't show it. That sounds like a really fun thing they should have.
It was great. They were all on magnets and like they were just stacked on each other. And I was like, bam. And I hit Rosé in the face with one of them. And then like you did this. Yeah. I forget what they all say. Yeah, you better work out, I think was one of them. And then I forget. I don't even know. I'd have to look at home, but like, or maybe on my Instagram. Thank God, you know, we document these things.
I'll put it in. I'll stitch it together when I do the video.
Yep.
I thought your Richard Simmons was great. I thought you were really funny. You definitely hit every beat. You knew the character. You were funny. I thought you nailed it.
I'm just mad I didn't do my first. You know what I mean? Like I switched when I was like sitting with Ru and Ru was like, who are you doing? And I brought, because I was gonna do Jennifer Coolidge and like my Jennifer Coolidge is on. Like, you know what I mean? I was ready, but I was just like, and they asked me like, oh, did you do it in your audition tape? I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, I didn't remember it. And I was like, uh-oh. Because like you just was there and I was just like, and it was the shakeup. And I should have probably just did it. You know what I mean? Because like, I remember in my head when I'm in the room and who's it? Raven was in there answering questions. And like the three that she answered were like matches that I would have had in my brain. Because I was saying what in my head at the time, I was like, oh, I would have said, this is Jennifer. I would have done this. And like, it just made me, I was like, God damn it. But you know, you don't regret it. I don't regret it. I think it was fine. And like, was it the most amazing Snatch Game I've ever seen? No, but it was not by any means the worst. I mean, we were laughing hysterical when Utica started like eating pain. I was like, what is going on? And like, because you can't break, the one thing about it too is when you choose an action, like mine was just working out, you have to do it the whole time. So like, if you're there for hours, which you are, you know what I mean? Like you're doing it. I was like, I remember the next day my arms were gonna fall off. I was just like, I can't even lift them. It was horrible.
Yeah, you've got to commit to that. I can't imagine how difficult that must be. And also weird because it's like you said, they put in all the sound effects afterwards, but for you, it's just silent. So that must be so weird.
Silence. It's weird. It's a mind. It's definitely a mind. I swore. You can leave it out later.
So obviously we were talking about the fact that they cut out a lot of stuff from your Snatch Game. The name of my channel is Drag Tea Served. So I was wondering if you could serve us some drag tea and tell us something that they didn't show on the show that you wish they had, or something maybe that happened backstage, like some drama or some tea that you can share with us.
I mean, I got into a pretty heated argument with Tamisha. And you didn't get to see it. That's probably the biggest thing that I said. And you know, I really broed out, you know. So I say bro out because just like, you know, like it's a term of me, you know what I mean? Like I think of those like, you know, straight bros, like, yeah, bro, you know, I really just like I was getting wild and you know, I'd had it. And so I just, yeah, I started screaming, but what's new? So I mean, that's kind of something I was looking forward to seeing.
Was this at the same time as when she had the fight with Kandy, or was this a separate time?
It was the same kind of like the same kind of time, but like later on, you know what I mean? That's why it came out of nowhere. And I was like, whoa, but you know, poke a bear, that's what happens. You know, don't poke a bear.
Definitely. Well, yeah, they didn't really show any of that. I mean, they showed you a little bit in the fight, but not that much. Like, so you were mainly the mediator is what they were showing. Which
was great, because I was the mediator. But I mean, you know, there was just so much more, you know.
And what is your relationship like with Tamisha?
I don't have one.
Okay.
At all. Zero. I'm blocked on Instagram. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
I'd seen the reports and things that she had blocked loads of people, but then it seemed that she was talking to some people, so I wasn't sure if.
yeah, I think she's talking to some people. It's fine. And you know what I mean? I knew she was at DryCon. I didn't speak to her. She made sure to steer clear of me. She talks to some people. I just don't get people like that. You know what I mean? It happened. It was a television show. I don't, bygones be. I hold no bad blood to Tamisha at all. It's just like, I wish everyone nothing but the best. And I think some people leave that show and take things a little too personal. But also, like, guys, it's a television show. Like, I can't say it enough, like, I think we all, and I had really respect to Tamisha. I mean, she had a very, very long career in drag, and which is hard to do. I mean, it's hard to even keep a career in drag for a long period of time, because like one week you in, the next week you out, like, and it's the long haulers, when it comes to drag that I respect, because they without them, even people before me putting in the work, I would not have a career today. And I think Tamisha was one of those people that like put in the work, and like, she's amazing. So I was excited to see her and be there because she's such a legend. And but with that said, like, you respect me and I respect you. So that's all we gotta really work at.
Yeah, was there any kind of, was it the way it was presented on TV, which was the kind of that she obviously had a fight with Kandy, and you and Gottmik were very much kind of on Kandy's side, and then there was sort of Tamisha seemed almost a bit kind of on her own, I guess, in that sense. Like, no one was really supporting her that much because she seemed to kind of come out of nowhere a little bit with it, or that's the way it was shown on TV at least. Was that how it was?
Yeah, it was definitely instigated out of nowhere. So like, and the thing is that me, Kandy, and Mick bonded very early, because those two people were people that came into the workroom and they were just themselves. And it was refreshing, and there was no guards up, there was no putting on this, putting on that. Like, Kandy's a monster, you know what I mean? And so is Mick, they're great people, and like, they're just just genuine who they are. So it was refreshing. And so people, did they think we were ganging up, or being joked about calling ourselves the Mean Girls, because like, in all actuality, like, we're the least thing from Mean. That's why it was funny. That was like the joke of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get to know us, like, there's some of the kindest people I know, and that's why it was funny to us. But a lot of people took it, I guess, a little too seriously. Oh my God, they're bullies. Oh my God. I was like, girl, stop. Just stop. I mean, y'all can make up whatever you need to make up in your own head to like do whatever, but guess what? We're in on the joke. So you can do what you need to do. We're gonna do us,
Yeah.
That's the thing. Look at those people, like, look at the people that are working after and like still doing it. It's like, you can't, people, you gotta be genuine. You gotta be who you are. People see it and people appreciate it. So
yeah, and I definitely think you came across as being very genuine and just yourself, and I think that's why people loved you on the show.
Yeah, I mean, you may not like, you don't have to love me. You know what I mean? You don't have to. It's just like, there's a taste for everybody. Do what you want. That's what's great about drag. This is what I don't understand, is like, people want to preach drag for everyone, everyone can do drag, but everyone is the first to pull drag apart and try to tell me what drag is, which I find it blows my mind. It's like, well, you need to do this with your pads, and you need to do this, your makeup, and you need to do this to your dress. And I was like, but aren't you the ones fighting for, like, drag should be for everyone? Isn't that what you're doing? So that's what you're doing. Okay. But it has to look a certain way. Got it. Cool. Check. I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess that kind of comes down to, on the show, do you think that you were judged by the judges? I mean, do you think you were judged fairly, or did you feel like overlooked on a lot of things, or what did you think about it?
I think since I'd been around for a long time, and I have been a New York City like staple, that I think I was definitely held to a different standard. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I should, know to do. I should have fixed my makeup. When I say fix, it's just like, it was signature to me. And that was the funny thing about coming in that like twins, kind of challenge type thing, or the switching, is that when Rosé came around the corner with that smoked eye, that glitter, you knew it was Tina Burner. You know what I mean? Like, That's what I'm saying. That was the challenge. You made me mad that you thought this person should be here, this person, but baby, I did the challenge. You knew she embodied me, I embodied her. That's what it was. So you may not like certain things, but that's the thing. Like I stamp stuff, like I am who I am, and no matter what it is, it's just who I am and what I choose to do. And that's why it's fascinating to me about people that just want to tear people down or tell people what drag is. But like I said, they want it for everyone. You can't have it both ways, babe.
No, definitely. The haters are going to hate.
I mean, I have some of my favorite drag queens are like ones that hardly, like wear makeup. And like, there's this queen in New York, like Busted, who always wears the same dress, same wig, and her shoes are duct taped. You know what I mean? It's like Busted. It's hysterical. It's so funny. Like drag is performance. And that's what I think people are forgetting. We're not all runway fashion models size 0, and that's what it's about, performance. I want to go to a drag show. I don't want to go watch someone who has 1 million Instagram followers and does not know how to talk on a mic or do a show. That's not for me. Like, so some of you want it. That's what social media is for, and you're getting it. But remember that when you go out and you watch these shows and you want to pay money to go see the shows, you better go see a show where someone's going to put on a show.
Definitely. And I think you definitely showed that you can put on a show. And what I was curious about was, we said at the beginning, you had a really good track record. You never fell in the bottom and you won a mini challenge. When you then eventually did fall in the bottom into Utica, did you expect that you were going to be in the bottom that week? And did you expect that you would be eliminated after the lip sync? I
absolutely did not think I was going to be in the bottom. My commercial had costume changes. My commercial used the pit crew having lines. I thought the brand was great. You know what I mean? Like I thought I had done really well with when I looked at some of the other girls, and like you watch those commercials and you try to tell yourself that mine was the bottom. I don't think so. I don't think so, baby. And I had a man who works branding sodas come up to me and just say, girl, that was some bull. And so did I expect you? No. And like I said, but you never know what the judges are looking for, and you can't, and they could be looking for something totally different. And they were. So like, I can't hold that against them. I just didn't think I was going to be in the bottom. And did I think that Utica beat me in that lip sync? I've told it to her face. Absolutely not. You know what I mean? Like I wiped that floor. I was giving it to you. I was a giant bear doing my humps. I was like, yeah, like pumping it out. Like it was the song. I felt it was the embodiment of the song. It's still to date, although I, technically lost, one of my favorite lip syncs I've ever done in my life. I had so much fun. I was sliding down the floor. It was great. I was just like, you know what I mean? Like sliding into home plate. It wasn't even a move. I was just like, ew. I remember when they announced for the Emmy, they showed the clip of me humping the floor, like in the Emmy thing. And I just thought that was hysterical. I was like, I don't know what homosexual is behind these videos, but thank you. It was like in RuPaul's Drag Race, up for outstanding. And there's a couple clips and there's me just in the bear humping the floor. Yeah. It
was a great lip sync. And I think lots of people, I mean, I guess everyone's got their opinion on who won, but the thing that I guess I do agree. I was very surprised you were in the bottom that week, if that's any consolation to you. But the one thing that I felt that I would really love to have seen is you, because obviously you didn't get to stay for the roast. Is that something you think you would have done well in?
Baby, come on now. These girls, when I left, when they write the letters at the end, every girl in the letter, like besides like, a couple that didn't write me a letter. Every girl in the letter like asked for me to lead my roast jokes. I was ready, honey. And they all asked for it. And I said, you can suck my, it's in my, no, baby. Not a chance in hell. I'll die with these. And then like, that's why I released, a video of it after the roast and stuff like that I put on YouTube.
It's not me. I'm Tina Burner. How y'all doing tonight? Look, if you're having a good time tonight, always remember, just like gonorrhea, the clap is free.
And like, just because I was having it's fun, I was ready to go. I was so excited to see Nina as well, because this comparison that we're the same person is just the most blows my mind thing to this day. Still, I was walking down the street and somebody's like, Nina, and I was just like, girl, what? I don't get it. We look nothing alike. I guess because we're both like 6'3" men who wear dresses, and cool, great, and we do comedy. But yeah, I was really excited about the roast. I was very because baby, you weren't getting me out.
Yeah, I think definitely we were robbed of you in the roast because I think you would have killed it.
I would have loved that. Yeah.
What challenge were you most excited for, and which one was the most surprising that you felt like you were going to do well but you didn't, or vice versa?
I mean, that's easy. Rusical. I mean, hands down. I mean, easy, honey. I was like, I got this. I can do this standing on my head. Dress up like Liza Minnelli, basically, too. And like, got to play the MC. I was like, oh, this is my life. And like, yeah, I was shocked, actually. And everybody else was too. I mean, I thought I did great. I mean, I chose to not lip sync a few seconds at the end because I thought it was funny. You know, when you watch things and people stop lip syncing and the music keeps playing, I find it so funny. And I was like, oh, this is so camp. Like, this whole thing is camp. They're like running around on like screen FaceTimes and phones. I was like, oh, this is going to be perfect. And then I did it and I landed in the bottom and I was like, what? I mean, I was very confused. But like I said, and I'll say it over and over again, I mean, you never know what the judges are looking for. So I was not mad about it. I wanted the criticism. I loved, like, it almost felt, because I was, you know, obviously safe a lot. So like when you're safe, you don't get critiques really by the judges. And so like, I want that. I wanted that criticism. I wanted to know what I could do, you know, better, or like what they thought, because it's always open into interpretation and it fascinates me. So
I think definitely I didn't think you were at the bottom for that challenge, and I was very surprised about that because I thought even if they made it look like you just forgot the lyrics, obviously you're saying you did it deliberately, I still think that compared to some other people, you definitely like sold it, and I think you still did a good
also
job.
I was on stage for 11 minutes, you know, doing the whole number. These girls came on for like 30-second bits. Like, do you know what I mean? It all revolved around me. Like, and that's why I was just like, you know, it's hard. And, you know, but that's why these girls nobody wants to lead, because all the focus is on you. And so they're missing everything else that's going on. So it was hard, but I was like, if anybody can do it, I can do it, you know? And so I was just like, I'll do it. Let's do it. I wasn't scared of it. I was just like, I remember like, it happened so fast, you know? And it was just, I thought I was there supporting the girls and being there for them. And that's my problem. I did. I was very supportive through all these girls, many of them throughout that whole journey, when I should have been focused more on supporting myself.
I guess it's learning how to do the game and
right, and not being, you know, I was actually trying to be helpful and like help girls sewed, and I helped girls, you know, all this stuff. And that's why I said, looking back, I wouldn't change it, but I wish people would have seen it, you know, like, because like y'all don't know, you know, you think I'm this crazy monster, but good.
Yeah, I don't think you're a crazy monster. I mean, maybe crazy, but not a monster.
Oh, definitely crazy. Definitely crazy. You have to be.
I thought you came across really well on the show. What did you think of your edit when you watched the episodes? Did you think it was fair?
I thought, yeah. I mean, I don't think, like I said, I just wish I would have seen more, you know, like, and so because I knew what went on and I knew a lot to say, I wish I would have, because it was very strong of me in the beginning, and then it just like tapered off. So I wish I would have, I don't know, I would have seen more, because you remember these, we all want to see it. I mean, we filmed it. I want to see it.
Definitely. And I think there was a kind of tension in terms of, it definitely seemed to be kind of like groups of people that were more friendly with each other than others. And like you said, you definitely seemed more in a group with Gottmik and Kandy. Did you get on with everyone in the cast, or were there some people that you just didn't get on with at all?
I mean, yeah, we've already answered that question. But
well, I mean, anyone else like it, not.
Oh, I got on. No, I got on pretty much with everybody. You know, like everybody. You know, obviously, you know, Rosé and I. You know, it was more of a thing, but like, we did not get on. You know, like I said, I just didn't know these people, and like, so there's certain people I clicked. Joey J and I became very close after the show because like he had went earlier. You know what I mean? So kind and so sweet, and like, we like to chat, you know what I mean? We've remained close, and there's certain of us that, you know, Mick is very busy, and like I'm very busy too, so we all try to check in when we can. But there's definitely, you know, Kandy ever picks up her phone, she's the worst, literally the worst. I mean, I'm just like, girl, you gotta get better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can imagine it must be so when you're so busy trying to kind of keep those friendships while you're all also on the hamster wheel trying to, you know, do your shows and your career. It must be tough.
It's exhausting. Yeah. I mean, just in general, because you know what I mean? Try to stay with these people, but yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on.
And I'd love to get on to some subscriber questions, if I may, because I know people
Let's
were
do it.
very excited to ask you questions.
Sure.
I had the most amount of questions I've ever received when I announced that I was interviewing you.
That's good.
One of the questions, and this was something I was going to ask you about anyway, because I thought was very interesting, was obviously you mentioned your previous relationship with Graham Norton.
Of course, yeah.
I was wondering if you could talk a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally the kindest man, one of the kindest people I've ever known. We're still close. I was just in London, a month or so ago, because I performed at JY, and you know, we got dinner and went to a show, and you know, like as we do. And it's just, you know, over these years, he's been my #1 supporter and has had, you know, coming from someone like him, you know, he like waited tables till he was like, you know, 30 or whatever, and then like became, you know, this huge global megastar, and like it's nothing but ever been support and love. And you know, if anyone has fault to blame for the relationship, you know, it's definitely me. I was younger and a monster, a child, you know what I mean? Like I just didn't, we've all, you know, you go through life and you learn and you grow. I think would we have met at a different time in my life where I was more into who I was as a person and what I wanted to do with my life, and you know, things would be different. But you know, it's just the cards fell how they fell, and you know, we became very close, and you know, continue to remain friends after all this time, which I think is more than most relationships can say. And so yeah, he's such a great man, and he's so supportive. And I wish I could give you some horrible tea that everyone's always looking for, but like there's just not any. And like, and so yeah, I was to blame, you know. I was and I will take the blame happily.
That's a very mature attitude of you to have, and I think that's why people love you, because you're honest and you're upfront. You don't try and sugarcoat it or lie. You're
no,
just like,
no, I was a terror. You know what I mean? I was a terror, and it's just, you know, like too, you know, I moved over there and just I should have been more respectful, and I wasn't. And yeah, so
how did you meet then?
We met at a bar in New York. I actually went up to him and I was like, either you are Graham Norton or you look a lot like him. Then I realized it was him, and I was like, I just insulted you. And then we just clicked. We clicked right away. We had so much, we clicked right away. We had some really good times, you know. And he's just like, he's funny. He's natural, he's down to earth, and he's very straightforward. So, and that's what I look for in a person. It's just like, it's not, you know, people get so caught up on a lot of things, like either age or looks or this or that. And it's like, at the end of the day, baby, you're sitting with this person. You need to realize that, like, you need to be with a good, kind, honest person who makes you laugh. And he's funny. He's funny. He's a monster in his own right, you know?
He definitely comes across that way. He seems very sweet. And obviously he's now a judge on Drag Race UK as well. So I guess it's kind of within the Drag Race family.
Yeah, I remember when he got that call, he called me, and he knows how bad I wanted Drag Race. And it was almost like, he's like, oh yeah, just, you know, like, kind of let you know, I don't want you to be like, you know, upset or anything. I was like, why would I be upset? It's kind, he did that. And I thought it was so sweet. But no, I was just like, anything that I understand, it's a career, baby. Go work, get that money, get that new audience. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because it's great to be able to reintroduce yourself to a whole new bunch of people.
Definitely. And I think he's done a great job. And I think you both got what you wanted. You got on Drag Race and you had a great time on the show from the sound of it. Like you enjoyed it, you learned stuff from it, and he is as well. So that's, you're still friends. I mean, that's great. That's like the ultimate goal of if you break up, you want it to be at least a good breakup.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, trust, it took a long, you know, time, I guess, to get there too. It didn't happen overnight, you know, but yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of him. I'll always be so proud of him. But like, seeing him succeed and continue to succeed is one of the most fulfilling things that I don't know that I've in my life. I've always so proud, and I don't think that'll ever stop. Whether it's from his books, you know, to his shows, to his wine. It's nice to, it's great to see him succeed. He deserves it. He's worked very hard, and it couldn't happen to a nicer man.
That's nice. I'm glad that you still have a really good relationship with him. He seems like a nice guy. So
yeah, he's great.
One of the other questions was, someone said, I know you're a very successful local queen. You were prior to Drag Race, and many people already knew you. What has your career been like post Drag Race? Are you busier than ever? And what was the fan reception? And then they went on to say, I hope to see you in All Stars because you were really underrated on your season.
Well, thank you. I'm always crazy. I have to stay busy. You know, I was just talking about with my musical director, Blake, who's here, and we had talked about, like, you know, Joan Rivers, like, even in her 80s was just like, you know, if I have an empty day, I don't feel right, you know, like, can't believe it, don't want an empty day. And that's why my thing is, I think certain girls leave the show and they're perceived a certain way and they don't have to work for anything. Like, it's just handed to them because you're this fan favorite or you're this or that. So everybody wants to book you. And some of us do have to still put the work in. I mean, I guess there was a part of me who thought, yeah, it would be so much easier, but it hasn't been easier. It's been, you're proving yourself to a whole new people, because you saw me on the show and like, now I have to actually show you what I can do. RuPaul said the most amazing thing to me, and it sticks with me to this day, said, you know, you've got the job, now show me what you can do with it. And I think it's like, you know, I'm gonna get that tattoo. I keep getting all these like inspirational tattoos of people in my life. Like this one was, it's actually Vanessa Williams' handwriting, because she's come to my shows all the time. And I interviewed her and I said, you know, you have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. If you could write a quote under it, what would it be? She's like, that's easy. It's like, success is the best revenge. And so I sent her a message, she wrote it, and I had it tattooed on my arm. So, and I look at it every day. And I just, so stuff like that is, you know, you're just still working. I'm crazy. You know, right now, like, I'm in Provincetown doing my one-woman show, and like I'll fly, you know, I take a ferry to a plane to fly to Fire Island. I jump on a train right when I land, go there to a show, come back to the city, see my dogs, go back to Fire Island and fly back here. And just travel a lot in between.
And but do you think Drag Race, I guess, so you've said you got the job, now show what you can do with it. Do you think that the show positively impacted your
I think so. For me, positive. I think it's opened doors that, you know, I wouldn't have had open before. I was trapped in New York working 9 shows a week because I never got to travel because I was at the top of my game in New York. So, you know, I was finally able to discover new places and meet new people. And, you know, it's been, you know, humbling. But like I said, the older you get, baby, and the harder it gets. Like, you know, I've been like, my feet hurt, but I wouldn't, you know, I love it. Wouldn't ask for anything else. It's the reason I do what I do is to make people laugh and have a good time. And it's been a rough couple of years, and laughter is more important than ever. And it's amazing. I do this, you know, show here in P-Town. It's just so great to hear these people laugh. It's been a long time since you've heard a lot of laughter with everything going on, and it pushes me. It motivates me. Even when I'm exhausted. Like today, I'm exhausted. But I'm gonna go out and give 140% because that's what you paid for, and that's what I need to do. You know, like I take it seriously because these people, you can change people's lives. I mean, you really can. I mean, you really have the option to be able, and you have a microphone, so you can also teach people. You know, you can speak and you can change people's minds on certain things. And because just by hearing, you know, a perspective of it that you maybe didn't think of before, you know, people come to the show and, you know, there's straight people and there's, you know, gay people and there's people from all walks of life. And so, you know, they're finally getting able to see what I can do, not just what you saw on a show, you know?
I was going to say that's very profound. And I think definitely even just that profoundness, we didn't really get to see on the show. And it just proves obviously there's so much more to Tina Burner than what we saw on a couple of episodes of a TV show.
Yeah, 11.
Not just a couple, 11.
I think 11. That's it. It was the longest season ever. I think it was 16 we ended up. And I think it was 11, maybe 12, something like that. Something in there.
It's a lot. I mean, some would say not enough of you, but
never enough.
One person asked, they said, something I've wondered for a while about the show is how much time there is between challenges. Are they every few days, or do you get a rest for a week in between? Are challenges such as the Rusical rehearsed one day or across multiple days?
No, everything moves very quickly. There is no rest. No rest at all. It is wild. I mean, I remember when we cast the Rusical, I think we just walked around a corner and then we were recording. And you don't even get time to listen to it. You know, like you get the time. It's wild. It's why it really is Drag Race. You know, it's a race. And like, even like, you know, you only rehearse just a little bit. So you better pay attention because you get one shot at it, baby. And if you mess it up or look bad, that's on you. So I was always like, let's go. Keep my head.
Yeah, I think given the very little time that you had, not you, but everyone on the show has, they still put on such an amazing show. And you can see why people do mess up a lip sync or miss a word or something, because you just literally have no time.
Yeah, no time at all. And so like, yeah, it's great. It's fun. I like it that way though. I don't like to sit around.
Apart from right now during this interview, hopefully.
I'm just sitting. Well, as I'm doing this, yeah, because I have to leave soon and go do my show. Gotta get out of here in about 10, honey, because you know what I'm doing. I'm doing it all. Look, I didn't even glue my lace down yet.
Okay, well, just one other question. Someone asked about your boy band era and whether, and whether that impacted your style and your aesthetic.
God, yeah, maybe that's why I'm so tacky. You know, 90s boy bands were tacky, honey. I don't know if it influenced. It was the early 2000s, I guess. I don't even know how to answer that question. It definitely impacted who I became, I think, as a person, because I was like the wild one in the band. There's always one who always does like the bridge, and he's like, I'm wild. Like that was me. I was the wild one. So I've always been this wild person. I think I've carried it with me, but definitely not my style. I mean, those bleached tips and like, there was questionable choices there. I made questionable choices on Drag Race. So yes, maybe it did. Maybe it did.
You were living your Y2K fantasy.
Baby, I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe it just ingrained in my head.
Well, thank you so much. I have a quick fire round of questions, if I may.
Love it. Let's do it.
It's just 5 questions. So quick fire,
Sure.
I'll give you a couple of options. They're kind of, some of them are drag related, some of them are not. So
Sure.
I will just ask you, and it's quick fire.
Sure.
Okay, so lipstick or lip gloss?
Lip gloss. Lipstick.
Lipstick.
Yeah.
Yes or no, pineapple on pizza?
No.
Favorite emoji?
Eggplant.
Cocktail or champagne?
Champagne.
And finally, can you summarize your experience on Drag Race in one word?
Wild. Yeah, wild, I guess. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, we had a wild ride on Drag Race watching. I'm sure we all loved you. If people want to, obviously, I'm sure people want to keep up and find out what you're doing right now. Where can people find you?
I can just go to my socials. I always have. Actually, at tinaburner.com. List usually what I'm doing with my shows and stuff like that, and where to get tickets to those. tinaburner.com. And then the Tina Burner is on Twitter. It's on, I think, TikTok, Instagram, and Venmo. I think it's all the same. Yeah, you'll find me. I'm not. You can't miss me, babe. Can't miss me.
We don't want to miss you either. Tina, thank you so much for being on my channel. I really appreciate it, and I really hope we do get to see you on any form of All Stars, because I know you're
love. Yeah, baby, call me. I'll be there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.